Hey guys, so if you're new to this YouTube channel, my name is Chelsea, and this is my second snow day in a row! Enough of that. For today's tips and tricks videos, I will be talking about tips to help you survive studio. Cool. Tip number 1, work in studio. This seems kind of obvious, but I know plenty of people that decide to work from home or anywhere that's not in studio, and I feel like doing that really hinders your design process. I mean, they give you a great studio to work in for a reason. You pay for that studio for a reason. So you should use it. It's a great place to bounce ideas off of people, to learn new things, to sometimes get your mind off of things, aka mess around and don't do work for a while. Okay, so it's a great place to not do work. You can walk around and talk to people. It's fun, interactive, it's inviting, crazy sometimes, it's exhilarating, it's so many things. There's just so many emotions and feelings and everything that goes into it. You should really, really try to embrace the idea of studio culture. Okay. Number 2, time management. So, this took me a very long time to really get down. As you may or may not know, I am currently a 5th year architecture student, and it has taken me, I hate to say it, but I think until last semester I had awful time management. It wasn't really until last semester that I really nailed it. So, don't do that. Figure it out a lot earlier than I did. So what I do now is I try to time myself on certain tasks. I only allow myself to have a certain amount of time to work on specific things. And depending on the situation, sometimes things that I know that I can get done really quickly, I will do those first to leave me time to do the things that maybe will take a little bit longer. This might seem obvious, but it doesn't really work out in all situations. Sometimes there are things that you have to get done right away. And obviously, as you know, studio is not the only class that we have to take. We have sometimes 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 other classes that we're taking on top of studio. So yeah, time management is necessary. Another thing I like to do is to make lists of things that I have to do. Sometimes I'll do what I have to do for the day or the week. Maybe I'll do it by each class, things that I have to do. Sometimes I'll write a few extra things that are a lot easier, so I can just have something to check off on the list. Maybe that's cheating a little bit, but it makes me feel good, so I do it. I know some people like to write out kind of a daily plan of things, what they have to do. They'll write morning routine to their classes, to maybe other activities that you have to do. I know for my own college experience, every semester I had at least 5 classes, including studio every semester. And I worked on top of that. So I had a pretty busy schedule. So list making really helped me to organize my time. And often I'll set alarms for myself so that I don't always have to keep track of things in my head. I can kind of just really focus on what I'm doing without having to worry about the time or how long I'm spending on something, which I found has helped me out a lot. But yeah, everyone has their own methods of time management. So I would suggest learning how you work best sooner than later. Number 3, eating habits. This is something that I personally am not very good at. being in studio for long hours, I tend to get really concentrated on whatever task I'm doing and kind of forget about all of my bodily needs, like eating, sleeping, going to the bathroom, whatever. So sometimes it'll just instantly hit me and I have to do all of those things all at one time. All of a sudden I'm exhausted, starving, and I'm about to pee my pants. Yep. So maybe take breaks instead of just working for 10 hours straight without moving, like I do. So eating habits, back to that. Make sure that you're eating healthy. You should eat snacks throughout the day rather than like 1 or 2 big meals, because it's better for you. That wasn't a very good tip. Okay, moving on. Tip number 4, sleeping habits. Alright, architects are notorious for not sleeping. We are zombies. We are known to not leave the architecture building. Leave the architecture building every day. Just do it. I know it's hard. I know you have lots of things to do. You will be grateful that you left. Even if it's for an hour or 2, shower, leave studio. You probably smell. You need to sleep and brush your teeth and be healthy and eat, see the sun, sleep. In the beginning of the semester, it's great. You get tons of sleep. Take advantage. I know later on in the semester, it's a lot harder to make time for things like sleeping. And I have had my fair share of all-nighters. And I'm not saying I regret them, but I don't do them anymore, which may tell you something. Maybe I'm getting old. I don't know. But what I've been doing now is when I know I have way too many things to do and not enough time to do them, I set myself up on a weird sleep schedule where I will work in studio all day long, then I will come back to my apartment around sometime in the evening so that I can make and eat dinner, and then I'll sleep for 2 hours max. And once those 2 hours are up, I will get myself ready again for the night. And so this may be at anywhere between 6 and 10 o'clock. And so once that time comes, then I will get myself ready and go back to studio for the night. And around 7 a.m. I will come back and eat breakfast, sleep for another 2 hours, and go to my classes and work in studio again for the day. This sounds crazy, but sometimes you gotta do it. And it's much better than not sleeping at all. So, sleep. Make some time for sleep. When you're making your time management schedule, designate some time for eating and sleeping. Tip number 5. This is maybe the most critical tip I can give you, since I have been affected by this many times. Save your work in as many different places as you possibly can. I have had my computer hard drive crash, I've had external hard drives crash, flash drives get stolen. You never know what's going to happen. I know plenty of people that have saved their entire semester's worth of work on our school share drive and had their folders get deleted. They lost everything. Don't do that. If you are working by hand, make sure to frequently take pictures of your work, scan in your work to the computer and save that in many different places. Things can get spilled on or ripped or something. So make sure to save your work. What number am I on? 4? 3? 7? Tip number 5. When you are making models and you are using an Alpha blade or an X-Acto knife, an Alpha knife, I don't know, whatever. if you're using a knife, make sure that you're using a sharp blade. Nothing is more dangerous when you are making models, especially because you'll be making them at 3 in the morning, whatever, without sleep. Yeah. Change your blades frequently. Always have replacement blades on hand. You'll want to change them depending on what material you're using, how often you're using your knife. You may want to change it every, I don't know. You'll notice when your knife isn't cutting as well. You'll have to make a lot more cuts and push a lot harder. And when you have to do that, that's when your knife starts to jump and you can cut your fingers and then you get blood on your model, and nobody wants that. You have to go to the emergency room and it takes time. Don't do that. It's not fun. And my last tip is to just make time for yourself every day. Take 5 or 10 minutes to go outside, sit outside, meet a friend for lunch, have some you time, because you need it. Enjoy the sunlight, not through a window at your architecture desk. Go outside, feel the grass or sand, I don't know, wherever your studio is. Go some good Domino's. Yum. Back to eating habits. Ordering food is wonderful. Domino's and Chinese. Do that. Yeah. Okay, so these are a few tips on how to survive your architecture studio. Hope these were helpful. Not too sarcastic. Please take the time to subscribe, and if you like this video, please hit the like button down below. And have fun in studio. I hope this didn't scare you away. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time.